Hey, what's up, everybody? It's me, Ronnie G, in the corner, and I'm here to tell you what happened leading up to the issue that I had at Three Monkeys in Richmond, Virginia. Okay, so going back, my wife was invited to a wedding of Cherie, her best friend, one of her best friends, who's a Delta, by the way. I can't do the sound because I'm not a Q. So, I just want to give you a little bit of information of the entire party that was there. So let me go back a little further. The people who were there at the party were two of my wife's friends, which I can't remember their names. I just met them. Her friend Cherie, who's a Delta, her sister, who works in law enforcement. My wife, of course, who also works in law enforcement. Cedric, who is works in finances as a supervisor, and her friend Cherie, of course, works as a supervisor. Her friend Jen, I don't know exactly what she does, her profession, but I also know that she's a bodybuilder. And her husband, which is an entrepreneur, also owns multiple businesses online. These are the people that you were dealing with at the time. And I was the one who was mainly upset because I feel as if I was the one who was attacked, basically, verbally, not physically, because it would have went somewhere else. Those are the people who were involved in this, I guess, situation that we went to. Okay, so that's enough of that. So let me dive in. My wife was invited to a wedding of her friends, and the wedding was October 15th. Well, her birthday is October 16th. Normally, we would be, of course, like in another state, maybe in another country, enjoying her birthday. But, you know, her best friend was getting married. So it's like, all right, she's only getting married once. You know, we're going to do that. The wedding, of course, and it was a beautiful wedding. And after that, you know, it's Michella's birthday, and her sister's coming from all the way from Virginia Beach. And, you know, there's other friends who were involved. And the best area for us all to meet up was Three Monkeys Bar and Grill. I mean, you know, we just chose it because we heard they had like good mimosas. The brunch was good. We like supporting businesses. We didn't want to go to a Denny's. We didn't want to go to an IHOP. No disrespect to those businesses, but we love supporting, I guess you would say, local businesses. Even though we're not from Richmond, we know that it's not a chain. It's not a chain bar and grill, or it's not a chain restaurant. We want to support. So we get there and we were told that you can't reserve. This was we tried to reserve a table maybe a week out, but you were told that you can't reserve. And if we would have known that the area was, you know, that small and it's first come, first serve, it would have been a problem. Well, we get there and there's actually a party there ahead of us who had reserved their table. We don't know how. We didn't make a fuss about it at all. So we're like, all right, well, cool. You know, could you sit us, you know, give us two booths beside each other? So we get the booths, we sit down. It takes them about 10-15 minutes to finally come over to us and bring us some water. When they bring us the water, the cups are filthy. And I'm talking about dirty. So we're like, nobody overreacted. We simply told the waiter, could you please, you know, get us some to-go cups? And that will be perfectly fine with us. She says, okay. She walks, or it's a man or a girl. Honestly, I don't know. And none of us disrespected that. Because the person seemed to be a woman, we said, yes, ma'am. We're from the South. We're polite. That's just how we used to do it. And I'm an 80s baby. We get back. She comes back. The cups, clearly you could see that she tried to wash the same cups off, but they're still dirty. And as she's putting them at the table, my wife is like, oh, no, ma'am, we'll just take to-go cups. And as my wife has her hand out like this, the woman is pushing the cup in my wife's hand and say, oh, no, I cleaned it. And my wife is like, no, it's still dirty. We'll just take a to-go cup. You know, that'll be fine. My wife is very polite, very nice, beautiful woman, doesn't have altercations with anyone. So when I seen this, I'm like, oh, man, that's a little, she's being a little pushy, but, you know, maybe dishes are tight. You know, she's just trying to get things out of the way. And, you know, my wife said, no, ma'am, you know, I just prefer a to-go cup. So finally, she comes back with the to-go cups. And mind you, the tables are really small. So she says, and I'm going to get you guys a picture of water. And we're like, oh no, we're fine. We mainly just need the water to wash our food down when we finally get it. And we say, no, we're fine. We don't need a picture. But she says to us, and I quote, no, I'm going to get you a picture. And then she goes back. And we're like, what? We have a small table. So, this isn't going to be, feasible for us, but it's fine. So she comes back with the picture of water. And before she even sets it down, we can see lettuce. We hope it was lettuce. It was green at the bottom of the picture. And we're like, ma'am, before we can even get her attention to let her know we don't want the picture, number one, because it's taking up too much room and it's filthy. It's lettuce. We literally start picking lettuce at the bottom of this thing. After that, I'm like, okay, I don't know if we should eat here or not. Like that's when it finally kicked in for me. And my wife is like, no, it's fine. I'm like, okay, well, I guess it's fine. We'll go ahead and dine here. We just won't come back, and we'll just tell them about our experience. We'll keep it at that. Okay, so mind you, I find out later what's happening with the next party, and I can't speak for them. Maybe that'll be in part 2 if we do that. But what I can say is what I've seen for myself. They hadn't received any of their food. Well, 2 of them hadn't received any food, and the other 2 had, just not all of it. And we're like, yo, have y'all got y'all food yet? Now we've been here for like 30 to 45 minutes. We hadn't gotten our food yet, and our other party didn't get all of their food. And they're like, no, they're a little upset. And we're like, yeah, it's all good. The food's coming. We order some mimosas. It's all good. We just chilling anyway. Everybody's just vibing. And then the food comes. My wife's sister orders chicken and waffles. She gets her waffles. She doesn't get her chicken. She doesn't get her chicken until we go, but I'll get to that part. I got the eggs. The eggs were delicious. I'm not gonna lie to you. They were good. The waffles were burned, crispy burned. So finally, I'm like, this is just entirely too much. The next thing you know, I hear that they're giving our party next to us at the next booth their to-go plates, and that's when Foy, who is Jen's wife, my wife's friend's husband, is like, hey, how are y'all giving us to-go plates when we haven't even gotten our food and we didn't say we wanted anything to go? So this is like, after that, like, we're done. Now we're finished. Like, we have lettuce floating in the picture of water. We received dirty cups. We didn't get all of our food. And I don't know about you, and I don't eat chicken, but when we order chicken and waffles, you would expect to get your chicken and waffles together. And that didn't happen for, my sister-in-law. And my waffles were burned, of course. So we're like, nah, we don't want to pay for this. We had to wait 45 minutes. Our party received their to-go plates before they even received their food. And, like, just, and our waiter was rude to us. And that may be something for part 2, but I'm here to tell you, our waiter was very rude to us. Okay, so we then asked the manager, we asked the waiter, could we speak to the manager? So the manager comes over, and that's when Jen speaks up for the entire party. We don't need our entire party trying to speak up and plead their cases. Because we're organized, we all speak to Jen, and Jen is going to be our representative. And we tell her everything that happened on our side that she didn't see, and she knows what happened with her party. The manager comes over. She explains everything to him. I'm sitting right beside her. I'm sitting down, and they're having a conversation on my left side. And as they're talking, she explains to him very politely what happened. Then all of a sudden, at the end of the conversation, she says, "We don't want to pay for any of this except for our mimosas, in which we enjoyed." And their party that got their food, they wanted to pay for that, and that was it. Like, we didn't want to pay for anything else. Well, he says to her after she says this, "What do you want me to do about it?" Now, mind you, this is the manager. And that's when I chime in, and I'm like, because clearly he wasn't respecting her, because he said it very sarcastically. And that's when I chime in. I said, man, do you not understand that we do not want to pay for this food? And I explain everything back to him again, so he can hear it from a man's standpoint. Because I don't know exactly where he's from, and it's no disrespect where he's from, but maybe they don't let their women speak up for them. Because where I'm from, my women give birth to real men. And I'm not saying his doesn't. I'm just telling you what our women do. And we don't cut them off when they're talking. We are equal in so many ways. And I don't think he was maybe on that. But then again, I could be wrong. I don't know. I'm just assuming. Anyway, then clearly shows that he's highly aggravated by, he does this and he turns around and walks off. And we're like, he can't even be professional enough to have a conversation. I never once raised my voice when I spoke to him. I only spoke to him in a man's tone. I didn't need to yell. Hell, I don't even have a deep voice anyway to really yell out like that anyway. So we then say, yeah, so, you know, this is just in the way. We don't want to pay for it, but we're going to, because we're not going to break the law and not pay for our food. That's when, and if I get this woman in trouble, I don't know your name, but I want to tell them what you said to me, our entire party. And if this gets you fired from Three Monkeys, I guarantee you that I will help you get a job, at least making over $45,000 a year starting. I promise you that, if you're not already making it. Anyway, she comes over to us. This is the assistant manager. She comes over to us. She's a white lady between 5'5" and 5'8". She comes over to the entire party, and none of us are yelling and screaming. We're just chill. She sits down with us. I worked in customer service for 20 years, over 20 years. I already knew that she was going to do everything for us that she possibly could. No trip. She sits down beside us and she says, guys, I am so sorry. I overheard a lot of what was happening, and I'm here to tell you that Three Monkeys didn't always used to be like this, is what she said. And she also said that, you know, she apologized for all the inconvenience. And she says, guys, I can't clear this bill for you, but what I can do is take off the gratuities and the food that you didn't receive and still give it to you. So we're like, wait a minute, hold on. We appreciate all that, but the gratuities were added? And she was like, yeah, they added them. No, and I'm like, do y'all normally do that? She was like, I don't know what happened, but they were added. We're going to take them off. We're going to take off the food that you didn't receive, still prepare for you and give it to them. And we're like, we appreciate that. Then she goes on to tell us that how she's heard reports of the manager, who is now the owner, who was very rude to customers. And we're like, well, hey, you know what? He got frustrated and walked off. We're glad you came over here. This is enough for us. We're not writing a bad review. We won't give you guys any stars. We just won't come back. That's what we told her. Because we were done. We were okay. We were satisfied with that. You know, like, we don't need a free meal from Three Monkeys Bar and Grill. Trust me. So then, as we're leaving out, we're grabbing our stuff. We've already paid. It's paid. And the next thing you know, roaches are starting to pour out of a crack in the wall. It's disgusting. But I was only able to capture one roach. And that's where you see me just lose it. Yes, I don't think I got like I didn't get as upset as I normally would. You know, maybe years ago it would have been different, but this time I'm like, I'm very passionate, and I feel very disrespected at how me and my party were treated. And on top of that, you have roaches pouring out of your wall. This is long before I knew they had an infestation of roaches. And this is public information. I'm not telling nothing that isn't, you know, legit. Roaches are pouring out of the crack of the corner, and I managed to catch one who went the entirely different way as the other one, and I'm following it, and that's when I'm like, yo, it's even crawling near these people's baby. I'm just like very passionate what happened, because I'm like, you treated us like crap, you gave us the worst service, and you have roaches that are crawling near people's baby. And I faded their face out because they had just had a baby. Like I'm pretty sure they didn't want to go viral with all that crap that was going on. Like, come on, man. I was respecting their privacy. You know, they have a baby. Now, there were other people there, and I did try to get their faces out. However, I just couldn't do it in a timely fashion. So I do apologize to you guys. And that's when the manager leans over to me as I'm saying, you know, it's Roaches Needy People, baby. He leans into my ear and says, "This is the manager. This is the manager. This is the manager." Can you get the, please excuse me, but I'm only quoting what the manager told me in my ear. Can you get the fuck out of my restaurant? Can you get the fuck out of my restaurant? Is what he says in my ear. Now, me, I am a combat. I do combat sports. I am literally a professional fighter. And at that time, I was actually in the works of being able to fight Jake Paul. However, I was not able to fight Jake Paul, which I won't leak who I got the messages from, but I got messages that was saying that I was too dangerous to fight Jake Paul, only because of my style and my power. I'm not like this like phenomenal fighter where I could just hit somebody one time and they're all going to sleep. I'm just a dangerous fighter for somebody like Jake Paul. He hadn't had enough experience at the time, I'm guessing. Still doesn't. That's a conversation we can have next time. And I know this video is getting really long, and maybe there'll be a part 2 when I can get the rest of the party to explain. But let me get back on track. So when he says this to me, I automatically felt threatened. I didn't feel like my life was in threatened, but I felt physically threatened. So what I done is I'm like, I gotta let him know now. Basically, now I gotta get primitive. I gotta start barking at this guy, but I have to make sure that I'm using my words very clearly. So now I'm starting to explain to him like the situation. You know, let's talk about the situation. I'm gonna get a little loud and rambunctious with you because of what you said in my ear. If that manager would have came over there and said, "Sir, please calm down," I'd have been like, you know what? I'd have stopped recording. I didn't have plans on posting that. Come on. Like, my page is mainly made up of boxing, a little bit of politics, maybe a few movie reviews, and motivational stuff like that. That's all. I didn't want to post up a bad experience I had at Three Monkeys Bar and Grill on my wife's birthday. Mind you, her best friend had just gotten married. They're meeting up with friends and family members they hadn't seen in years. And we decide to share this experience at Three Monkeys. Share this acquaintance, whatever you want to call it, at Three Monkeys. And that's the service that we got. Guys, I will never go back to Three Monkeys Bar and Grill, ever. Anything that sound like it. Three Monkeys Bar and Grill gave us the worst experience we have ever had at a restaurant. I don't advise you to go back. They have a roach infestation that they haven't taken care of. The last I checked, which was 5 minutes ago, all the people involved, all of these, the majority of them are all deltas. Not only are they deltas, but they are best friends. They all work professional jobs. They have professional careers. Everyone there at the table was a professional. However, I got a little passionate, and you know, and I was really upset, and you know, and my apologies for that. I know I shouldn't have been screaming like that, you know, and I'm sorry. And I love Virginia, by the way. I really do, because I love the rights that you can have in Virginia. So I figured I'd knock that out for you too. Yeah, so those who sit back and watch this, man, I just tell you, man, like, make sure you dine somewhere you can enjoy, you know. And Three Monkeys Bar and Grill and anything like it, I wouldn't advise that you do it. So here's what I want to do. Anytime you have a restaurant that's not good, or you have a horrible experience there, I want you to send it to me. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to share your experience. So hit me up on IG, Ronnie G in the corner, and I'll make a playlist that's mainly for reviews for you. And what I'll do is I'll drop those reviews in there, because I feel like we need to have a voice when it comes to spending our money anywhere. If you want my money, please just treat me right. I'm just asking to be treated fairly. You know, I'm asking for the bare minimum. Respect me as a human being. That's all I want, you know? And I think a lot of people want that. So, and to all the people, you know, making this about race, look, this had nothing to do because we were black. I think this more so I think we just got like the poop end of the stick that day. You know, the manager, maybe he was going through some stuff. The waiter, you know, maybe that person was too. I don't know. But one thing I can tell you is that assistant manager, I don't know who you are, I don't know what you do, but thank you so much for trying your best to help us. We really do appreciate that. Well, I'm Ronnie G in the corner, and you know, that's it.